A girl in a worn white t-shirt enters the five-star Grand Horizon Hotel to book a room, planning a surprise for her husband on their anniversary. But the staff scorns her, the crowd mocks her, and a heartbreaking moment seeing him with another woman makes her doubt his love. Will she crumble under prejudice, or rise to transform an empire? A story of dignity, love, and the fight for fairness for 90% of Americans. Watch to feel it. Like, share, and subscribe to spread the message. 1. Anna and the Surprise Plan. Anna Wilson never imagined that a worn-out white t-shirt could unravel her world, thrusting her into a storm of humiliation and heartbreak on the very day she planned to celebrate love. But when she stepped into her husband's opulent five-star hotel, her romantic dream collided with a brutal test of dignity and a devastating glimpse of betrayal. In the fading light of a Portland afternoon, golden rays slipped through the windows of a community art classroom, where Anna Wilson stood surrounded by children, her hands streaked with blue and red paint. At 32, she wore a white t-shirt, its hem frayed and surface splattered with color, a relic from her college days. It was the first gift from James Wilson, her husband, handed to her under an old oak tree when he stammered his love for her. "Keep it," he'd said, eyes sparkling. "It's you." Now, a decade later, the shirt was Anna's treasure, a threadbare memory she wore like armor, even if it made her look like she'd tumbled out of a paint can. Today marked their 5th wedding anniversary. Anna knew James was at the Grand Horizon Hotel, sealing a deal with international partners. A spark of inspiration had struck her that morning, vivid as a brushstroke. She'd book the presidential suite, show up unannounced, and hand James a handwritten anniversary card. No forewarning, just the joy of watching him freeze, then laugh, the way he did when they shared cheap coffee as broke students. She wanted to see that boyish grin again, the one that made her heart skip. Anna stuffed the card into her backpack, pulled her brown ponytail through a trucker cap, and caught her reflection in a classroom mirror. "I look like a street artist," she muttered, a smile tugging at her lips. "But James loves me like this." She stepped onto the street, her heart buoyant but laced with nerves. The Grand Horizon was a realm of crystal chandeliers and tailored suits, a far cry from her paint-stained t-shirt, scuffed sneakers, and battered backpack. "Please don't let anyone stare like I'm an alien," she whispered, chuckling softly. As she walked toward the hotel, Anna's mind danced with images of the evening. Candlelight, James's warm hands, the card crinkling as he opened it. She didn't care that her outfit screamed outsider to the hotel's elite clientele. James had chosen her a woman who valued purpose over polish. Their love had always bridged their worlds, hadn't it? But Anna couldn't know that in mere minutes, her simple plan would crash against a wall of icy prejudice. The hotel staff would see only her worn clothes and judge her unworthy. Worse, a fleeting moment James with a beautiful assistant by his side would pierce her heart, making her question the man she loved. The Grand Horizon, gleaming with promise, was about to become a stage for her greatest trial, where dignity and trust would be tested in the harshest spotlight. 2. Discrimination at the lobby. The Grand Horizon Hotel's lobby was a cathedral of wealth, its grandeur almost blinding. Crystal chandeliers hung like frozen waterfalls, casting prismatic light across a marble floor so polished it mirrored the footsteps of guests in tailored suits and silk gowns. The air carried the scent of expensive perfume, mingling with the faint notes of a grand piano's melody, played by a tuxedoed musician in a corner. This was a world where a single night's stay could cost a year's wages for a laborer, a world that screamed exclusivity, where only the rich and refined dared tread. Anna Wilson, in her paint-splattered white t-shirt, trucker cap, and scuffed sneakers, stepped through the revolving doors and felt like an intruder in a palace. Her backpack sagged on one shoulder, the weight of her anniversary card and a lifetime of defiance anchoring her. She sensed eyes on her sharp, judgmental glances from guests sipping champagne by a gilded fountain. A woman in a fur stole whispered to her companion, her diamond earrings glinting as she tilted her head. Anna's heart thudded, but she squared her shoulders and approached the reception desk, where two employees stood like gatekeepers to this elite realm. Mark, a wiry man in his 30s with a vest so crisp it seemed starched to his bones, and Sarah, a sharp-featured woman of 28, her hair pulled into a bun so tight it matched her condescending smile. "Hi," Anna said, her voice warm despite the chill of the room. "I'm Anna Wilson. I'd like to book the presidential suite for tonight. My husband, James Wilson, is here." Mark's eyes flicked over her cap, t-shirt, paint stains, backpack, and his smile tightened. "You're saying you're Mrs. Wilson? Wife of the James Wilson, owner of this hotel?" His tone was polite, but laced with skepticism, as if she'd claimed to be royalty. Anna nodded, unfazed. "Yes, here's my ID." She rummaged in her backpack, producing her driver's license. "Today's our 5th anniversary, and I want to surprise him. He doesn't know I'm coming." Sarah leaned forward, glancing at the ID with exaggerated scrutiny. "Anna Wilson," she read aloud, her voice dripping with mockery. "And you expect us to believe you're married to Mr. Wilson? Sweetheart, this is the Grand Horizon. Rooms here cost more than most people's annual rent. Maybe you meant the motel down the street." Anna's cheeks flushed, but she held her ground. "No mistake. I'm his wife. Can you check for the suite, please?" Mark chuckled, a sound like breaking glass. "Oh, we'll check. But let's be real, miss. Mrs. Wilson is a socialite, dripping in designer labels. You look like you're here to fix the plumbing." He tapped the computer keys with theatrical slowness, exchanging a smirk with Sarah. The lobby grew quieter, the piano's notes fading as guests turned to watch. A man in a pinstripe suit muttered to his wife, "She's got nerve," claiming she's Wilson's wife in that getup. His wife giggled, her pearls clicking. Anna felt their stares like needles, but she straightened her spine. "I'm not claiming anything," she said firmly. "I am Anna Wilson. Call James or your manager, please." Sarah rolled her eyes, leaning back with a sigh. "Listen, honey, we get wannabes like you all the time. People stroll in, thinking they can name-drop Mr. Wilson and score a free room. But this isn't a charity hostel. Why don't you take your paint project back to wherever you came from?" Her words carried across the lobby, drawing snickers from a group of young women in cocktail dresses by the bar. Anna's hands tightened on her backpack straps, her pulse racing. "I'm not asking for a free room. I'm here to book the suite. It's our anniversary. Just check the system." Mark shook his head, his smirk widening. "No reservation under Wilson, not for you, anyway. And no note from Mr. Wilson about a wife in." He gestured at her outfit. "Whatever this is. Honestly, are you sure you're not here to unclog a sink? We could use a hand in maintenance." The crowd's laughter stung like a slap. A silver-haired man in a tuxedo called out, "Give her a wrench and a jumpsuit. She'll fit right in." His companions roared, clinking their glasses. Anna's face burned, but she refused to crumble. "You're making a mistake," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. "I'm James's wife. Call someone who can verify it." Sarah scoffed, her professional mask slipping. "Call Mr. Wilson? Oh, please. He's one of the richest men in America. We don't just dial him up because some girl in a trucker hat spins a fairy tale. And frankly, you're embarrassing yourself. Look around, this place is for people who belong. Not not your kind." She gestured at the lobby, where every detail screamed wealth. Gold-trimmed columns, velvet armchairs, a chandelier worth more than a house. Anna's breath caught at the phrase, "your kind." It wasn't just about her clothes, it was about every child in her art program. Every person judged for their lack of polish. "My kind?" she repeated, her voice sharper. You mean people who work for a living? Who don't wear diamonds to breakfast? I'm here for my husband, and I'm not leaving. The crowd murmured, some amused, others uncomfortable. A woman in a sequined gown whispered, "She's delusional. Probably thinks Wilson married her for her paint skills." Her friend snorted, snapping a photo with her phone. Anna's humiliation deepened, but she stood firm, her fingers clutching the anniversary card in her pocket like a lifeline. Sarah signaled to a security guard. "Tom, we need you." Tom, a broad-shouldered man in his 40s, approached, his face etched with reluctance. "Ma'am, you need to come with me," he said softly. "Let's not make a scene." "I'm not making a scene," Anna said, her voice rising. "I'm trying to check into my husband's hotel on our anniversary. This is his hotel." She turned to Mark. "Call your manager." "Now!" Mark smirked, folding his arms. "The manager's in New York. I'm in charge, and I say you're not welcome. Tom, get her out before she bothers our actual guests." He waved at the growing line of impeccably dressed patrons, some now openly filming the spectacle. Tom hesitated, then touched Anna's arm. "Ma'am, please. Don't make me drag you out." Anna pulled away, her eyes blazing. "Don't touch me. I'm not leaving until you call James." Sarah laughed, a cruel edge to her voice. "Oh, give it up. You're not fooling anyone. What's next? Claiming you're here to redecorate the lobby with your finger paints?" The crowd erupted again, a man shouting, "Send her to the service entrance. That's where she belongs." Anna's chest tightened, the weight of their scorn pressing down. She thought of her students, kids who faced the same judgment for their second-hand clothes. "You're wrong about me," she said quietly, her voice cutting through the laughter. "And you're wrong about what matters." Ba Carter, an elderly guest in a velvet dress, stepped forward, her voice firm. "Check again, young man. This feels like a mistake you'll regret." Mark waved her off. "Mrs. Carter, we know the Wilsons. This woman's a fraud." Anna's resolve wavered, but she stood her ground, unaware that the revolving doors were about to spin again, bringing a moment that would shatter her heart and change everything. 3. Misunderstanding and revelation. In a single heartbeat, Anna Wilson's world shattered not just from the scorn of a crowd that branded her a liar, but from the sight of her husband with another woman, oblivious to her presence on their anniversary. Was this the end of her love, or the beginning of a fight for truth? The lobby of the Grand Horizon Hotel was a crucible of judgment, its opulent glow mocking Anna's paint-splattered t-shirt and trucker cap. The crystal chandeliers glittered above, but their light felt cold, illuminating her humiliation as Tom, the security guard, gripped her arm. "Ma'am, you gotta go," he muttered, his voice low with discomfort. Around her, the crowd's laughter echoed, guests in silk and suits, their champagne flutes clinking as they filmed her disgrace. Mark and Sarah, the receptionists, stood behind the desk, their smirks sharp as knives. "Not your kind," Sarah had sneered, her words still burning in Anna's ears. She clutched the anniversary card in her pocket, its edges crumpling under her fingers, a fragile tether to her purpose. "I'm not leaving," Anna said, her voice trembling but resolute. "This is my husband's hotel, and today's our 5th anniversary. I belong here." Her eyes darted to the revolving doors, hoping James might appear, his boyish grin dissolving this nightmare. But the doors spun, and her heart stopped. A glimpse can wound deeper than words, and what Anna saw next was a blade to her soul. James, her James, with a woman who seemed to belong in his world more than she ever could. James Wilson strode into the lobby, his gray suit tailored to perfection, his salt and pepper hair catching the chandelier's glow. At 45, he carried the quiet authority of a man who'd built an empire from nothing. But he wasn't alone. Beside him was Emily, his 27-year-old assistant, her red dress hugging her curves, her blonde hair cascading in waves. She laughed at something James said, handing him a folder with a familiarity that made Anna's stomach lurch. Their heads were close, their steps synchronized, as they moved toward the private elevator. James didn't glance her way not once. The elevator doors slid shut, swallowing them, and Anna felt the ground tilt beneath her. "James," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You didn't see me." Her eyes stung, tears threatening to spill as she gripped the card tighter. The crowd's whispers grew louder, venomous. "That's her husband?" A woman in a sequined gown scoffed, loud enough for Anna to hear. "With her? She must be dreaming." A man in a tuxedo chuckled. "Probably here to scrub the floors, not play Mrs. Wilson." Sarah seized the moment, her voice cutting through the din. "See? Mr. Wilson's right there, with someone who fits this place. Give it up, sweetheart. You're not fooling anyone." Mark leaned forward, his smirk cruel. "What's the plan now? Gonna tell us you're his secret plumber wife? Maybe you're here to fix the pipes and his marriage?" The laughter was a tidal wave, crashing over Anna. Her mind reeled, pulling her back to a memory, a moment when love felt unbreakable. 10 years ago, under that oak tree, James had slipped the white t-shirt over her shoulders, his hands trembling. "It's not much," he'd said, "a broke student with dreams bigger than his wallet. But it's yours." They'd sat on the grass, sharing a single coffee, laughing about their future. Anna was a scholarship kid, scraping by on art supplies and grit, while James worked nights as a janitor, vowing to build something grand. "We'll make it, Anna," he'd promised, his eyes fierce. Together, their love had been a rebellion against a world that said they didn't belong until now, when that world seemed to have won. Back in the lobby, Anna's knees buckled, but she caught herself. The memory of James's promise clashed with the image of him with Emily, their ease a stark contrast to her isolation. Had she been wrong all along? Was this glittering empire his true home, and she a relic he'd outgrown? "I just wanted to surprise you," she murmured, her voice lost in the crowd's jeers. "It's our anniversary." As Anna stood on the edge of despair, a single moment threatened to break her or forge her anew. But the truth was closer than she knew, and it was about to erupt. Tom tightened his grip, his face apologetic. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you gotta leave." Anna shook her head, her voice rising. "I'm not going anywhere. I came for James, and I'm staying until he knows I'm here." Her defiance sparked a murmur from the crowd, some shifting uncomfortably. Mrs. Carter, the elderly guest in velvet, stepped closer, her voice firm. "Young lady, you're stronger than they know. Don't let them crush you." She glared at Mark. "Call someone who can sort this out, or you'll answer for it." Sarah scoffed, folding her arms. "Oh, please, Mrs. Carter. She's a nobody spinning tales. What's next?" Claiming she painted the Mona Lisa in her spare time, the crowd laughed again, but Anna's eyes burned with resolve. "You're wrong," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. "Not just about me, but about everyone you judge because they don't look like you. My students face this everyday kids who shine brighter than your chandeliers. I won't let you make me feel small." Her words hung in the air, silencing some of the onlookers. But Sarah was relentless. "Big speech for a plumber's wife. Tom, get her out now." Tom hesitated, his hand loosening, but before he could act, the private elevator dinged. Hook. The truth has a way of crashing through lies, and as the elevator doors parted, Anna's world teetered between ruin and redemption. In a penthouse office 30 floors above, James Wilson scrawled his signature on a contract worth millions, his mind half on the deal, half on the home he'd share with Anna later. Emily, his assistant, stood nearby, organizing papers when her phone buzzed. She frowned, reading a message from a staff member below. "Sir," she interrupted, her voice urgent. "There's trouble in the lobby. A woman claiming to be your wife is being escorted out." "They don't believe her." James's pen froze mid-stroke. Anna? In the lobby. His face paled, realization dawning. Why wasn't I told? He shoved the contract aside, bolting for the door. Emily hurried after him. It's your anniversary, sir. She must have wanted to surprise you. James's heart pounded as the elevator descended, his mind racing. He hadn't seen Anna in the lobby, hadn't even known she was there. The deal had consumed him. Emily's presence just part of the job. But now, imagining Anna facing scorn alone, guilt and fury surged through him. He'd built this hotel to welcome everyone, not to humiliate the woman he loved. The elevator doors slid open, and James burst into the lobby, his voice a thunderclap. Let go of my wife now. Tom recoiled, releasing Anna's arm as if it burned. The crowd fell silent, their laughter dying. Mark and Sarah froze, their faces draining of color. Anna turned, her eyes meeting James's, a storm of relief and pain swirling within them. James, she whispered, her voice cracking. You're here. James crossed the marble floor in 3 strides, his hands cupping her face. Anna, are you okay? I'm so sorry I didn't know you were here. His voice trembled, raw with regret. Anna's eyes, red from unshed tears, searched his. I just wanted to surprise you, for our anniversary. She pulled the crumpled card from her pocket, her hand shaking. I thought you didn't see me. James's heart broke at her words. He turned to Mark, his gaze searing. Explain. Now, why is my wife being treated like this? Mark stammered, his bravado crumbling. We didn't recognize her. She was wearing. James cut him off, his voice low and lethal. Wearing what? The t-shirt I gave her when we had nothing? She's worth more than everyone in this room combined. Sarah shrank back, mumbling. We were maintaining standards. James's laugh was bitter. Standards? You humiliated my wife. Because she doesn't fit your snobbish mold? You've shamed this hotel. He looked at Anna, his eyes softening. I'm sorry, love. This is my fault. Anna gripped his hand, her voice steady despite the tears. It's not just me, James. It's everyone. They judge my students. People who don't wear wealth on their sleeves. That's what hurts. Her words struck the crowd, some lowering their phones, shame flickering in their eyes. Mrs. Carter clapped slowly, her voice ringing. Well said, dear. And well done, Mr. Wilson. The crowd stirred, a few joining her applause. Anna looked at James, the weight of the misunderstanding lifting. He hadn't betrayed her, he'd been blind to her presence, not her worth. Their love, born under that oak tree, was still a rebellion against a world that tried to tear them apart. 4. Reformation and reunion. The lobby of the Grand Horizon Hotel, moments ago a stage for Anna's public shaming, now hummed with a stunned silence. The crystal chandeliers still gleamed, but their light seemed softer, as if humbled by the drama that had unfolded. James Wilson held Anna's hand, his grip fierce yet tender, his eyes burning with regret and resolve. The crowd, once jeering, now watched in quiet awe, their phones lowered, some faces flushed with shame. Mark and Sarah stood behind the reception desk, their smugness replaced by ashen fear. Tom, the security guard, shuffled awkwardly, his hands clasped like a penitent. Anna's white t-shirt, frayed and paint-splattered, felt like a banner of defiance, its stains a testament to her unyielding spirit. James turned to the staff, his voice low but commanding. My office! Now! He glanced at Anna, softening. You coming, love? Anna nodded, her eyes still red but steady. I'm with you. As they moved toward the private elevator, Mrs. Carter's voice rang out, clear and proud. You've got a lioness there, Mr. Wilson. Don't let these fools forget it. A few guests clapped, their applause a tentative olive branch. In the penthouse office, the city skyline glittered through floor-to-ceiling windows, but the mood was heavy. James stood by his desk, A photo of him and Anna taken under that college oak tree framed in silver. Mark, Sarah, and Tom stood rigid, their earlier arrogance gone. Anna sat in a plush chair, her backpack at her feet, the anniversary card now resting on her lap like a quiet victory. James spoke first, his voice measured but sharp. I built this hotel from a dream, a place where everyone, rich or poor, felt valued. Today, you turned that dream into a nightmare. You humiliated my wife because of how she looked. Why? Mark swallowed, his voice shaky. Sir, we didn't know it was her. She came in looking like a worker, not Mrs. Wilson. We thought she was lying. Anna leaned forward, her tone calm but piercing. A worker? Is that an insult? My students' parents are workers, cleaners, drivers, cooks. They're the heart of this city. You judged me because I don't wear your idea of wealth. That's not just about me, it's about everyone you've ever dismissed. Sarah's face flushed, her voice barely a whisper. We were trained to protect the hotel's image. People like you don't usually come here. People like me? Anna's laugh was soft, bitter. You mean people who don't flash money to prove their worth? My worth isn't in my clothes, Sarah. It's in the kids I teach, the lives I touch. What's your worth? Tom cleared his throat, his voice gruff. Ma'am, I'm sorry. I didn't want to grab you, but they said you were trouble. Thought you might be, I dunno, a scam artist in a trucker hat. He offered a sheepish grin. Guess I was wrong about the female royalty of t-shirts thing. Anna chuckled despite herself, easing the tension. I'll take that as a compliment, Tom. James's lips twitched, but his gaze stayed hard on the staff. You three set the tone for this hotel. Your prejudice didn't just hurt Anna, it betrayed every guest who walks through those doors. That ends today. Mark's shoulders slumped. Are we fired, sir? His voice cracked, fear replacing his earlier bravado. Sarah's eyes widened, and Tom looked at his shoes, bracing for the worst. James exchanged a glance with Anna, a silent conversation born of years together. She nodded slightly, her expression firm yet forgiving. No, James said, his tone resolute. Firing you is too easy. You'll help fix this. Starting tomorrow, we're overhauling training across all my hotels. Anti-bias programs, community outreach, the works. You three will lead it after you train first. Sarah blinked, stunned. Us? After this? Anna answered, her voice gentle but unwavering. Because you've seen what prejudice does. You felt it today, your shame, your fear. That's your starting point. Learn from it and teach others. She paused, her eyes softening. Everyone deserves a chance to grow. Even you. Mark's voice was hoarse. Mrs. Wilson, I don't know what to say. I was awful to you. Sarah nodded, tears brimming. We were wrong. I'm sorry. Tom added. I'll make it right, ma'am. Promise. James clapped his hands, decisive. Good. You'll also spend a day at Anna's art program. See what real value looks like, kids creating beauty from nothing. Now go. We'll meet tomorrow. As the three filed out, their apologies trailing like whispers, James turned to Anna, his formal demeanor melting. He knelt beside her chair, taking her hands. I'm so sorry, Anna. I was so caught up in that deal. I didn't see you. I failed you. Anna squeezed his hands, her smile tired but warm. You didn't fail me, James. You showed up when it mattered. But this isn't just about us. It's about everyone who's ever felt like they don't belong. She touched his cheek. Let's make sure it never happens again. 3 months later, the Grand Horizon was transformed. Mark led workshops, his one-snide voice now earnest as he shared his mistakes. Sarah coordinated internships for disadvantaged youth, her sharp edges softened by the children's laughter. Tom trained security staff, his mantra simple. Protect, don't intimidate. A new plaque graced the lobby, etched with words Anna had chosen. At Grand Horizon, we honor all people. We are more alike than unalike. Maya Angelou. Guests noticed the changed smiles were warmer, service humbler. Mrs. Carter, checking in, beamed. This place has a heart now. Thanks to you, Mrs. Wilson. That evening, James and Anna stood in the lobby, his arm around her. You turned a disaster into something beautiful, he said, kissing her forehead. Anna, still in her t-shirt, grinned. We did. And next time, I'm wearing a ball gown just to mess with them. 5. Anniversary and message. The Grand Horizon Hotel's rooftop glowed under a canopy of stars. Its twinkling lights a stark contrast to the cold chandeliers of the lobby where Anna Wilson had faced her trial. A table adorned with roses stood at the center, candlelight dancing on the faces of Anna and James. Anna, still in her paint-splattered white t-shirt, radiant despite the day's scars, raised a glass to her husband. To 5 years, she said, her voice warm, and to surviving the worst anniversary surprise ever. James laughed, his eyes crinkling. To you, Anna, my heart, my home. He clinked his glass against hers. I'm sorry I was blind down there. Never again. He pulled a small gift from his pocket, a canvas painted by Anna's students, depicting 2 figures hand in hand under a rainbow. They said it's us, he murmured. Forever. Anna's eyes glistened, her fingers tracing the vibrant strokes. This is perfect, she whispered, leaning into his embrace. Even if I almost got kicked out of your hotel. They laughed, their dance under the stars a quiet rebellion against the world's judgments. The frayed t-shirt a symbol of love that no prejudice could unravel. Days later, Anna stood on a Portland sidewalk, chatting with a street artist whose sketches caught her eye. No one ever stops to talk, he said, shyly offering her a drawing. Anna smiled. They will. Everyone's got a story worth hearing. Behind her, the Grand Horizon buzzed with newfound warmth, guests of all walks welcomed, staff trained to see beyond appearances, a plaque proclaiming equality etched in its heart. This story isn't just Anna's, it's yours. It's for every person who's felt small under the weight of a stranger's sneer, judged for their clothes, their job, their dreams. Anna's t-shirt wasn't just fabric. It was her truth, her fight for dignity in a world quick to dismiss the ordinary. Her courage turned a hotel's soul around, proving that one voice can spark a revolution. You too can stand tall, challenge bias, and see the beauty in every soul, rich or poor. Like this story, if it moved you, each click sends a ripple of hope. Share it, subscribe to our channel, and join us in spreading stories that uplift, inspire, and fight for a fairer, brighter society. Together, we can build a world where no one's worth is measured by their wardrobe, where love and respect shine louder than chandeliers. Because, as Anna showed us, true luxury is kindness, and every heart deserves to belong.